Let's get a change of scenery. I'm excited to see the animations. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to see. I want to see Asheville V3. I think they're gonna buff him and his chart. Uh, what do you guys think happened to him? Oh, another one joined. Oh, I see. Now they're moving. Oh, okay. Hello, Christian. I don't think we'll get 4.2 beta tomorrow. I don't think we've gotten anything that contradicts that. Or contradicts, what's it called? 4.2 beta happening. Like, it should still be happening. Didn't Seal say tomorrow's gonna be V3? Yeah, I know. But, like, we've already known this. This isn't anything new. Uh, like, we've known V3 is gonna be on this day from multiple other leakers for, like, a good while at this point. They never said, oh, there's not gonna be 4.2 beta going on at the same time. They never said that. Wee. Hello, Memento. No. I mean, it could be, but no. The main beta date from all leakers is on the 2nd of March. And then if it isn't on the 2nd of March, then yes, it would be a week later. Like, that's just a normal guess. They won't release beta before drip marketing? Does it even work like that? Didn't. No, they said March 2nd. I'm pretty sure they said March 2nd. Didn't Seal say 2-3? You guys realize tomorrow is Monday, right? And we're not in February. February would be the second month. We're in March, meaning the 3 stands for the month and the 2 stands for the day. So tomorrow, it'll be the third month and the second day of March. And it'll be Monday, at least for me personally. I grab the water. When it's drip marketing, nobody knows. I don't think beta will happen this soon. I mean, it's like whatever, man. Like, just believe whatever you want to. Like, genuinely. I'm not here to argue, but it's like, just believe whatever you want to at this point. Because there's no point in me constantly going in circles saying the same thing. Galbraina Sig is mid. Just use the standard tune break one. We're getting beta 4.2 before drip market. I mean, we've also never had a patch that is 2 weeks shorter before, so.
Good times. Time to say bye. Boom.
Memories beneath the waters lies an endless abyss.
Wait, I forgot I'm on Nihility. Yes, QU1 should be rerunning. Did they leak something about Yao or Sparksy? Not know. Hello, Uni.
Easy now. Let it swim a little closer.
Let me update some of these.
Any fish taking the bait? In the abyss's revels, your cries rise. Relax.
Just stopping by to say hi before I go to sleep. Thank you, Uni. Hope you have a good night. 4.1 beta v3 is still happening, but 4.2 beta is on March 10th. I mean, if that's true, then I mean that's still cool. That makes more sense then. Because I did find it weird. It's like you're gonna push up the beta by 3 weeks, but you've only shortened the patch by 2. So my only assumption was that they wanted to sell Yao Guang, but pushing it up by 2 weeks matches the patch increase. So, well, Dot's brain dead. So, actually, just give me this. One more week then? I mean, that's fine. We still get it incredibly early. Like, Sparksy's gonna have 14 days left on her banner. And Yao Guang too. It just a little longer. I just want to see Ashvale's V3 at this point. I want to see if they buff his charging ability to, like, make him more favorable towards older characters like Fei Xiao. Because keep in mind, like, if they buff Ashvale to be a better sub DPS, I think Fei Xiao would be like Firefly levels probably in terms of like low cost clears against MOC. Fei Xiao is like a goat. She really is. Like Acheron got fucking Hyacine with Lycone buffed. She got Nova Flare Silverwolf. She got Cypher. And then she also got Tribby with Nova Flared E2 Silverwolf combo. And then now she also has Buff Sparkle as her strongest Harmony on her team. Fei Xiao hasn't gone a single team upgrade, man. Like, she hasn't gone a single one until probably Ashvale. I thought Cypher was an upgrade as well. I'm pretty sure I did say Cypher.
Relax. Time to say bye. Boom.
Oh, you mean for Fei Xiao? No, not really. Not really, no. Strongest E2 and 2.x is Firefly? Not really. Not really. It depends on context. Firefly's E2 damage wise, even including the extra other turn, like this isn't that much. It isn't as strong as sorry, not Firefly's. Phaenon's E2 extra turn. So the E0 to E2 jump for Firefly is around 50%. What honestly makes the E2 jump really good is the E1 no longer making her consume skill points. So she goes from like an SP black hole to doesn't consume skill points almost at all and also gets this damage increase. But in terms of a pure damage increase, Fei Xiao's E2 is bigger. And if you go out of your way to farm the Eagle set for E2 Fei Xiao, it's probably even stronger than it shows on like normal calcs on Pridewind, for example.
Formation. Time to say bye. Boom.
Yeah, people have been zero cycling with Fei Xiao for a long time. If Fei Xiao were to ever get like her own quote unquote Dahlia, she'd be significantly stronger than Firefly. But Ashvale is made for someone else in mind, so probably not going to happen. But I do think E1 Ashvale, that has to be like a really nice upgrade for Faye. And it isn't too expensive. So yeah, I just hope they increase his charge ability, 2 on skill, 3 on ultimate, so he can synergize better with Faye, and then it's like more worth it. Watch how no one would complain about Fei Xiao getting a buff, by the way, if they do buff Ashvale. Watch how no one will complain. I swear, bro, this Firefly hate is absolute insanity.
Does that hurt?
Hello.
Stand still. Think with me. Relax. Enemy of Mixer's rebels. Your cries
Open my window a little bit more. Any character that gets attached to the MC gets hate, yeah. The reason why this is so obvious to me is because I've been in the game for so long. Once again, Acheron got the better base kit as compared to Firefly. She was always stronger at base as compared to Firefly. Acheron was the more universal one. Acheron got a new sustain with Hyacine and her Lycone. Acheron got Nova Flare Silverwolf. Acheron got Nova Flare Sparkle. Acheron got Cypher. And people now would say, yeah, Acheron needs a Nova Flare. But Firefly doesn't get any dedicated supports. Ling Shot completely blows as a sustain. Fugue buffed her the least of every break DPS. She only got a best in slot just last patch. And now people are talking about her Nova Flare is preferential treatment and disgusting and this and that, after making fun of her and calling her Fire Flop for like nearly 2 years because she never got preferential treatment. Like, it's so funny, bro. It is so funny. The same people who hated on Firefly and nitpicked all her flaws are now trying to like flip it and say she's too strong and so she doesn't need a Nova Flare and she doesn't have any flaws because they don't like it. King Yuan deserves the buff more. I mean, there's a lot of other characters who deserve the buff more. I don't disagree, but it's like popularity definitely plays an important part, in my opinion.
Don't look happy to see us.
And I do think Acheron will probably get Nova Flared in this version.
Make a wish.
But watch, no one's gonna complain about the Acheron Nova Flare. And they're never gonna mention the fact that, by the way, like people are using, oh, Firefly's getting 5 cause 0 cycles against the current endgame content with Battle Pass Lycones as an argument, when about half a year ago, Acheron had lower cost clears against Endgame than Firefly currently does with Dahlia.
Any fish taken. Does that hurt?
And only half a year later, they're like, yeah, Acheron needs a Nova Flare. Which, once again, I don't disagree with. But it shows, like, how bad the average HSR player is at understanding how fast HP inflation can make an older character obsolete. Right. Well, this is 0 cycles we're using, so you can still clear for sure. But the cost for it goes up by, like, double very quickly if you yourself don't get Nova Flared as the DPS.
Stand still. Time to say bye.
Nova Flare Acheron because she's been mid since release? Nice one, man.
In the abyss's revels, your cries rise.
The human body is beautiful in its fragility.
That's a belly slapper.
Those moments spent anchored in quiet harbors. I miss them as I miss fleeting foes.
I try. 14 currently. Oh. 15 currently. Do I have pity on this? I think I do for Swan. I think it's like 40 for Swan. I tried getting E1 Swan. 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 70. What? Okay, I'm blind. I definitely missed a gold. Yeah, okay, I'm blind. I'm blind. So it was 30. I pushed 30 pity. That's my first time ever missing me going over a limited 5-star while scrolling through. So I have 30 there. Do I have any on the light cone? I do. 7. Yeah. So the plan for this account, by the way, guys, is E1 Swan. It's Firefly. So this E2 FF has... she's homeless. She's homeless, okay? She has no Dahlia. She has no Fugue. And it is really bad, okay? Like, I am not downplaying it in this. It is very, very bad using a Firefly that is this bricked. You know what? I'm going to show you guys just how bad it is. Are you guys ready to witness greatness right here? A Dahlia-less, Fugeless E2 Firefly. In a normal sustain team with PT.
Please stay tuned.
This is the woman who doesn't deserve a Nova Flare, by the way.
Until everything burns to ashes! Fight to live!
Okay, let's not judge yet, guys. Let's not judge yet. There's no HMC ult.
Some value, I suppose.
Okay, now we got all the buffs up, alright, guys?
Away by the wind.
We have all the buffs up. Are you guys ready for this insane damage right here? Okay. Get ready for this. Get ready for it. Fugeless, Dahlia-less, but E2. So it's about to change everything.
Did the rhythm get messed up? Dreams do come true.
Wait.
There's more to life. Existence is unity.
Now it's 3 targets.
The mood is set just. Let the show begin.
But yeah, that's the average Firefly experience if you have no Dahlia or Fugue. It's like saying Cassie needs a Nova Flare since she is bad without Evernight, Cyrene, and Hyacine. Cassie, you know what? I'll show you the difference. I'll show you the difference. I'll show you what an E2 Cassie with only Hyacine looks like versus that E2 Firefly. Keep in mind, Cassie, no Cyrene, no Evernight, and I am going to be comparing it to this Firefly with no Dahlia, no Fugue. So you guys can see how vast the difference is. No Hyacine? That's not fair. That's like removing HMC from fucking Firefly. That's like removing Dahlia, Fugue, and HMC from Firefly. Let's not play favorites here. Not really? Yes, really. What? You're literally making me get rid of the entirety of Mono Rem, except for Cassie. Ruan Mei and HMC are still some of Firefly's best supports possible.
Do you want to enter the...
And in May. I mean, it'd still be better even if I use Gala. But, like, I'll do Hyacine first anyways.
Sound lingers. Emerge from your cocoon. Eternal. Danger approaches. Return to dust. May death protect us.
I'm back. Do it.
Guys, have some sunshine.
Breaks over.
May this bestow the blue, restore the skies.
Breaks over.
Life is as you wish. Embrace a new life. Darkness with me. May death protect us. Stay away. There's more to go. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Breaks over. I'm on it. You can do it. Trust. We can do anything.
These blue
This is E2. My Firefly was E2 as well.
Return to dust. May death protect us.
Like, keep in mind, for Firefly, the enemy still had 70+% of their HP left. 70 to 80% of their HP left.
Nice. Let's go.
Do I even have Gallagher on this account? Yeah, dude. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I'll use it anyways. It's still going to be stronger than Firefly. I don't have anything to hide. This shit is still going to be stronger than Firefly anyways. A light coneless Ruan Mei with an unbuilt Gala. And this shit is still going to do better than the E2 Firefly.
Sound lingers.
But yeah, actually, I don't want to do that.
Sound lingers. Emerge from your cocoon. Existence is unity. Danger approach. Darkness with me.
May death protect us.
Not a bad idea. Do it.
Please check as you wish. Root here.
Time to mix things up. Slice like my friends. Indulge yourselves.
Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
I'm still here.
Embrace a new life. Return to dust. May death protect us.
Trust me. We can do anything.
So, I just want to give you guys a reference. Cassie got them down to like 20-25% HP. Firefly still had like 70 to 80% left on these guys. 70 to 80% left. This is a light coneless Ruan Mei with an unbuilt Gala. And an RMC who is also half-assedly built.
Now I'll catch my breath for a while.
Light coneless Mei, yep. It's because I have the DDD I usually use on her on Buff Sparkle. Oh! Yo, chill, man. Chill on my builds, dude. Chill on my builds. But yeah, like if that doesn't prove my point, right? Cassie is one of the most like Chrysos era DPSs out of all of them, right? Who is reliant on having all these best in slots on her team to reach her optimal performance, right? Like she is one of the most reliant of all the heirs, and she fucking spits on a Firefly. She's like 3x as strong as a Firefly as a base DPS as compared to FF. It's not even fucking close. What character you regret pulling? Bide. On my Phanon account, but I don't really play on it that much anymore, so it's fine. Yeah, like this is my point. Like, the only people who think Firefly is fine are Dahlia. Like people already pulled Dahlia for Firefly, or people who don't play Firefly without Dahlia. I got accusations in my comments that I wasn't someone who had any of the break DPSs, including Firefly, because I was complaining about her power level. It's like, no, you could remove Cassie, Evernight, and Cyrene from Cassie's team, and she's 3x as strong as Firefly at base. Like, I'm not taking this shit, man. You're comparing Firefly to an anniversary character. You should compare to E2 Phanon instead. That would be even worse. Well, why are you setting up Firefly to even more? Are you trying to see me zero cycle with E2 Faye? With fucking free to play supports? That's just a setup. Phanon is the only Chrysos Air DPS whose lowest cost zero cycles don't have a single best in slot in them. At least against MOC. I know it was a joke, yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys can understand my point. People are like, oh, Firefly is already V3 DPS level. No, no, no. I'm not letting that shit slide. Dahlia is V3 DPS level. Okay? Dahlia is. Don't you dare say that Firefly is V3 DPS level. Actually, now that I think about it, you could probably run like vertically invested in Dahlia, and she'd probably be stronger than a base Firefly without Dahlia, which is kind of depressing now that I think about it. I think Ash is the Dahlia follow-up, not even close. Ash's buffs for follow-up and his attack frequency would both need to be doubled to be equivalent to like a Dahlia for follow-up. Kafka needs a Nova Flare since she's mid if you play her with Sampo. Kafka isn't a DPS, buddy. What are you trying to say? Kafka isn't a DPS. Like, Dot literally does not function without Kafka. A break team can function completely fine without a Firefly. Can you clear Plight with this account? No. Plight, Mono Rem, I think the minimum cost is like 14 or something. I can check real quick. Let me see. Mono Rem Plight. Yeah, it's 14. It's the entire team at E2S1. Well, not the entire team, I guess, but everybody on the team is E2. Yeah. So Cassie and Hyacine have S1, but Hyacine or sorry, Cassie and Cyrene have S1. Evernight and Hyacine have normal Remembrance Cone. The website is sk.theherda.com.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
I saw Heisland's MOC 12 clear without Kafka, and it probably needed significantly more cost. What is your point? Yep. Okay. I found it. I found it. I found the thing I think you're talking about. Against Harbinger of Death, right? It is a 7 cost 0 cycle using E1 Heislands, E2 Cyrene, Cypher, and Armsy. You want to know how much better the team with Kafka is? It drops it from 7 cost to 4. This is the one without Kafka. This is the one over here. Triple dot or Cyrene. Is Cassie the best DPS if she's relying on her best in slot team? No. Cassie isn't the strongest DPS. She has the strongest team. I've been saying this for fucking forever. The quote unquote strongest DPS at probably E0 currently. It's probably Evernight. It is probably Evernight. Cassie is the Zanny of the game. When Zanny released anyways, takes away and neuters a perfectly fine DPS just for her personal gain to make a team that's 10% better. Yeah. But yeah. Like, I hope you guys can kind of, like, understand why it is. I don't get why people are so against, like, a Firefly Nova Flare. Like, she at base is genuine garbage. Acheron is definitely, I'm not exaggerating. Acheron is definitely in a better place, base versus base, as compared to Firefly. Always has been. She just doesn't have a Dahlia. If you gave Acheron a Dahlia, she'd instantly be noticeably stronger than a Firefly. Like, it'd be no contest. Firefly has always been very weak at base with multiple flaws. E2 and E1 fix a multitude of her biggest ones. Brie Dahlia, which was how much of an SP black hole she was, and one extra turn every other turn. But, like, her E2 jump is like a third of the strength of, like, a Feign on E2. And her base is just so incredibly weak, it's disgusting. No, we're getting Ashvale V3 tomorrow. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Home Press. Firefly isn't worth it at all. Like, if you're trying to go into break, personally, I would not say get Firefly. I would say get Few, get Dahlia. Get that the combo of those two, and then literally just keep putting vertical investment in those two. Right? If we weren't aware of Firefly getting Nova flared, I'd never recommend anyone pull Firefly. Just no. Yes, she's technically like the strongest break DPS for the low cost zero cycles, especially now with Dahlia. But it's just like you don't need it at all. Why didn't you pull Dahlia? If you had an E1 Kafka and an E0S1 Swan, and you weren't aware that Firefly would for sure get Nova flared in the future, wouldn't you rather wait until 4.0 when Swan gets Nova flared and there's a Heislands rerun, as compared to picking up Dahlia for your Brick D2 Firefly? That's what I did. So I ended up saving the pulls, and I got E1 Heislands on my Firefly account. So now I have the premium dot team. And now Huohuo is also getting Nova flared, which will definitely be the best in slot sustain for triple dot. Are you pulling her in a rerun? Yes. I'd be stupid to not pull her on a rerun. My E2 Firefly is getting Nova flared. If it was E0, it's like, maybe I don't bother. But E2? Like, they're going to buff the Eidolons. It's 4.2 though, so what? Like, I'm getting Ashvale on my new free-to-play account for speedrunning endgame, and I'm getting Silverwolf on that account as well. Like, I don't need to worry about any units. Woho being best in slot sustain for dot is still unconfirmed. I mean, if you have a brain, like, no offense, I'm sorry if that comes off as rude, but if you have a brain, Woho is going to be best in slot. She's always been the best in slot sustain for the team. The only reason she isn't best in slot anymore is purely her SP negativity because her sustain sucks. You think they aren't going to fix that in a Nova Flare? This doesn't even include buffing her ER gen. This doesn't include buffing her attack buffs. Like, all you need to do is increase her sustain capability and she's best in slot. It's that easy. Not rude, man. Okay. Appreciate it. But yeah, like the ER gen plus the attack buff, these are literally the two things Dot wants the most out of anything. Also, Huohuo has like perfect E1 investment for Dot 2. It's like a team-wide speed buff, which they all love as well. Huohuo is the perfect Dot sustain. The only thing that has been keeping the, oh, we're going to get a dedicated Dot sustain thing alive for a while now is people think they're going to Nova Flare Jiao into a Dot sustain. Like, people are still coping about that. It could be possible, but personally, I don't see it happening for a long ass time. Well, yeah, but they probably fixed that in the Nova Flare, Bronte. Like, if they don't fix the majority of the obvious issues she has in Nova Flare, it's like, why would anybody even give a fuck? Make break crit. Alright, we're just trolling now. Listen, I'm all for this Firefly Nova Flare, but as you guys may have noticed, every single recommendation and reason I've given for her getting Nova Flared has been flaws in her kit and not multipliers. If they were to make break crit in Firefly's kit, bye bye Monorem. Bye bye. You know, it was nice knowing you. Like they aren't gonna do that shit. You think Huohuo will be the best in slot sustain with buffed Firefly? Well, you're probably just gonna always try and run sustainless as much as possible. But generally, yeah, probably. I mean, Break has like no sustain. Break has no sustain options. It's kind of depressing. Like Ling Sha was just a failure. Personally, in my opinion, Ling Sha was just a failure. Ling Sha is there. Ling Shaw's damage output in a break team is so goddamn insignificant. I can't put it into words. Maybe if you have like E1 Ling Sha and you get like more investment in Ling Sha. But like it's so bad, bro. It's so bad. And then on top of this, she's taking up more skill points on the team, which can be annoying. If you have a buffed Woho and she does what I think she will do, which is generate half the teammates' ultimates at 50% every time she uses ult, that would probably be more useful than anything Ling Sha provides. Because you guys also have to keep in mind, by the way, Nova Flared Huohuo is probably going to have actual good sustain capability. Right? Like, this is one thing you need to get out of the way no matter what. Ling Sha sustain capability is not good these days. It really isn't. I'm not saying it's impossible to clear with her, but Huohuo will likely be... Well, she'll likely have a better SP economy, energy regen with the team, which the team can appreciate more, can basic more often, so she can actually generate skill points, and so on, so on. Possible even speed buff, right? Similar to the Dot team. The Break team likes speed buffs too. If you get an E1 Huohuo, which they're probably going to buff further, you're getting a team-wide speed buff. Right. So ER gen plus speed buff, I mean, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. I think Huohuo is staying in there. Voice crack like always, though. I think she's gonna be best in slot in 90% of teams. No, that's not a hot take. That's normal take. If you give ER gen attack buffs and you have good SP economy and you have good sustain capability, you are going to be best in slot with like all the attack scalers and just generalist as far as it goes. The only teams that won't use you are niche ones, like Monorem. Like Monorem would just obviously keep using Hyacine. Ripped on Hung PT. I mean, yeah. Making Huohuo this good will hurt Dan Heng PT value for sure. But PT still has like the little bit of incentive. One, this guy was free, right? He was free. He still is free. So anybody with currently a Dan Heng PT can't lie. They didn't pay anything for the guy. However, also, E1 makes him Gallagher levels of SP positive and additional 18% res pen. and then E2 basically makes him a second DPS on your team. So they have different strengths, in my opinion. Like, I would still invest in like E2 Dan Heng PT on my Anoxa account before I invest in Huo Huo. Because I know Anoxa plus E2 Dan Heng PT is basically just duo DPS and helps his pure fiction a lot. And anyways, this game has 3 team endgame content now. So if you care about AA, we now have at least 3 sustains who are capable of sustaining AA. You have Hyacinth, you have Dan Heng PT, and you have Huo Huo. So, I mean, there's no reason to really fight constantly. You're going to want it on different teams anyways. Why invest in sustain though? That's wasting cost. It depends on the characters on your account, my friend. This is the point I just brought up. Like my Anoxa account, Anoxa, his number 1 struggling endgame mode is pure fiction. And because of Anoxa's Eidolons buffing the dragon's damage, the dragon nearly does as much as an Anoxa skill on my Anoxa account. So if you get an E2 Dan Heng PT, then the dragon is doing the same damage as an Anoxa skill. So, or actually, it'd probably do as more in some instances. Yeah, Anoxa has shitty vertical investment. So, also, it's harder to power creep sustains as compared to supports and DPSs. Like, you'll get a new strongest DPS every like 2 or 3 patches. Dan Heng PT is still going to be an amazing sustain, one of the best in the game, for probably the next year plus. And the guy was free. So. Because keep in mind, by the way, Anoxa probably has, in terms of sustain capability, Dan Heng PT has the most broken early Eidolon investment for future sustain power creep. His E2 doubles the shield that the dragon gives every time it acts. It's double damage, double frequency, double shields, and action advanced dragon on ultimate. How can Pearl compete with Dan Heng PT as a preservation? Here's what you guys are misunderstanding, okay? This is where the crack cocaine theories hit. Himiko will be a break DPS, and Pearl will be the new break sustain. Ling Sha, your time has come. Say goodbye. They will buff Ling Sha. Ling Sha Nova Flare? Nope. Not happening. Crack take indeed. I mean, low key, I don't think it's too far left field to think they'd make the second main push Himiko break. Y'all can disagree though. I think it's like at least like a 30% chance that she ends up being a break DPS. Because like one, Dahlia's rerun lines up perfectly for Himiko being break. Dahlia 3.8, reruns 4.2 because of Firefly Nova Flare. Next time she can rerun is 4.5, which is the patch right after Himiko releases. I just personally think it's weird, even with Firefly's popularity, that they wouldn't take the opportunity to make Dahlia best in slot for a newer break DPS, in my opinion. I just think it's a little weird. Because Firefly is already one of the highest owned DPSs in the game, with some of the highest owned Eidolon's investment of any DPS in the game. So you can sell Dahlia, you can make a new sustain for break, indirectly buff the rest of the break teams, including Firefly, right? And then, I mean, you could make a Fugue replacement. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that would be decently likely, but that one's 50-50. I don't know. And then they could focus more on like building up the follow-up team and building up selling Blade's team and Nihilux in the future and the other Elation character, stuff like that. This is just a guess, though. She could 100% just not be break, and I'm just, bullshitting. That's not how it works, Home Press. Like, people just used Hyacine Tribi Wheelchair for their older DPSs. It'd be the same thing here, but for the break ones. It's not the break DPSs that are necessarily strong. It would be the best in slots. Also, they literally did this with Blade and Jing Liu, by the way. Like, now that I think of it, they literally did this with Blade and Jing Liu. They made Tribi Hyacine, Nova flared Blade and Jing Liu. They got indirect buffs with the team, but they still weren't on par with the actual new HP main DPSs. It would be the same thing here. What's the point of a Nova Flare Firefly? What was the point of a Nova Flare Jing Liu and Blade? Like, we can do this all day, man. These random ass restrictions people put on Hoyo for absolutely no reason that have no track record never make sense to me. Like, they've already done this before. What are you talking about? Nova bait? I mean, yeah. I mean, I just personally, the reason I don't like immediately kick this thing out of my mind, it's like, it's decently likely. You know what I'm saying? Firefly is old. She's had like 3 or 4 rerun banners already in total. Like one of the highest. Oh, they don't make much money off of making a Dahlia for a Firefly. They do make the Firefly mains obviously happy, but I just find it weird, man. I find it weird. I also think the most likely thing that you can guess for Himiko SP to be currently is break. I don't think there's anything else you can guess at all that is more likely than that with the information we currently know. It's not like they would release another break DPS right after buffing Firefly. Yes, but why do you think this? Like, why? Like, what imaginary restriction are you putting on Hoyo for them to suddenly not do this because you said so? It doesn't exist. Like, they wouldn't lose any money from it. If anything, they just gain more money because they're selling a new break DPS for Dahlia. And a lot of people don't like Firefly. I mean, she's still popular, but... Why isn't my favorite character not getting a Nova Flare instead of this Fire Flop? Yeah, that's usually how 99% of this discussion goes. Yeah, exactly. Also, it's like even a theoretical Nova Flare Firefly will not be stronger than any of the version 4 DPSs. And this is something you guys should understand. Like every time I talk about this Nova Flare shit, people like suddenly lose their understanding of this game's HP inflation and power creep track record. They're like, "Oh, Firefly's going to be so strong. She's going to be on par with the top V3 DPSs." So, so you know what she isn't going to be? As strong as the version 4 ones, the early ones, who are usually on the weaker end, by the way. The Elation team is still going to get upgrades in the future. Ashvale is going to get his main DPS. Sparksy is currently getting cucked because she can't hit 3 Elation. True, Bronte, true. You think Evan could get a Nova because of follow-up upcoming? Yeah. Yes. Because if Himeko truly has her own gimmick, and whether it be break or whatever, I think Pearl is going to be Himeko sustain, and I think they will release Inhalation sustain later on. And something consistent in HSR is 2 new sustains a version. They really do not surpass this, right? I guess you could say 4-star Gallagher, but you know what I mean, right? It's usually 2 limited sustains a version since version 2. Version 2 had Ling Sha and Avin. Version 3 had Don Hung PT and Hyacine. So in version 4, it would be Elation Sustain and Pearl. So if you want to buff the follow-up team, but you don't want to release a dedicated sustain for them, the easiest way to do that is to buff Avin. You Nova Flare Avin, make him better with follow-up teams. You have Ashvale. Ashvale now has his main DPS. And I don't know what fucking 3rd slot support you're going to sell. Are you going to Nova Flare Robin? Or are you just going to make Robin best in slot with follow-up again? I don't fucking know. Right. At least buff the other 2 break DPSs too. Fire DPS restriction and Dahlia. Rappa and Boot Hill also got astronomically buffed by Dahlia. This Dahlia situation, keep in mind, is literally just a reverse of Fugue. Fugue, who was supposed to buff Firefly the most, buffed Firefly the least, and buffed Rappa and Boot Hill more. Dahlia is the same thing but in reverse, in which she buffs Firefly the most, and then buffs Boot Hill and Rappa on the side. Also, notice how it doesn't say Firefly, it says like Fire DPS. That's another sign it could possibly be Himeko who synergizes with her. How could Avin get a buff more damage? More damage, more debuffs. To be honest, his follow-up attack frequency isn't even that bad. You could buff it, but that is not his main issue. It's just damage and debuffs. And, of course, buff the Eidolon investment. Oh yeah, sustained capability too. Like that's something everybody struggles with these days. I don't know anything about Fushuan.
It's squishy.
I literally don't even remember what Fushuan's kit is. I don't even care about her. Yeah, I also forgot Fushuan existed. Isn't she on the 50-50 loss though? Oh yeah, she is. I just didn't pick her. I've been thinking on it more as of late, and I do think Seal Nova Flare is gonna synergize with Ashvale, in my opinion. I don't know, but I think that makes the most sense. Because every single Nova Flare so far has been to buff a meta. But I don't think, obviously, they're going to go out of their way to fucking buff Seal in the Big 26. There's too many teams they need to sell. So, if you want to make Seal work with anybody, you make her a temporary fill-in for Ashvale's main DPS until the actual limited one comes down the line. So, in my opinion, instead of her normal resurgence, it turns into follow-ups. And it can be procced by anybody on the team killing enemies. So this is why Ashvale's ultimate works the way it does, with being able to target ads so well. I could be wrong though. Yeah, I remember someone said it in my stream, but I didn't believe it. But when I gave it a little more of a thought process, it's like, I don't know what Nova Flare Seal could possibly synergize with, unless they just completely fucked her over and didn't really give her any team. And she was just like, oh, here you go. If you lose 50-50, you get a decent hunt DPS. Right. Like, she doesn't really synergize with anybody. Nova flaring the 1.x DPS who you can get on a 50-50 loss isn't shilling to a male character. If anything, it's the opposite. It's just giving him the fucking scraps. Isn't Seal most benefited by action advanced characters? Yes. My guess for Seal's best in slot team, Nova Flare, for a while now, has been double AA with Sunday Sparkle. But it's like, that's just not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, every single Nova Flare has been for like a specific meta or gimmick, right? Like, Silver Wolf was a kind of generalist buff, but Nova Flare Silver Wolf was really good for Archer and as well as Acheron. Right. You could even use Silverwolf and Cassie, by the way. That's right. Silverwolf can be better than Tribby in lower target scenarios for Cassie. You had Blade and Jing Liu. They were obviously shielded to the HP meta. You had Kafka Nova Flare, obviously for the dot meta with upcoming Heistlands. Then you have Wowo Nova Flare. This is for like dot teams and Aglaya and other teams like that. Firefly Nova Flare is for selling Dahlia. You see the pattern, right? Black Swan Nova Flare for dot. every time they Nova Flare a character, it's to put them in like a new team or an older team that they're still trying to shill and sell. But this wouldn't apply to Seal, which is like the weird. I can't guess what team Seal would synergize with if she kept her current kit, right? It's literally just normal double action advancer, and I guess you try to sell Sparkle with it, maybe. So the only thing I can guess is that they make Seal a temporary fill-in follow-up DPS for Ashvale. I genuinely think that's the most likely option. Holy coat, Bronte. What is Well gonna do? No fucking clue. I'm completely clueless on that one. Yeah, literally, the most likely guess I can give to Welt is Acheron. Like, he is a sign of a possible Acheron fill-in. Think about it, it makes 0 sense. Yeah. You think they will release at least one Remembrance character? I don't, but then I think I'm going against Anon. Because I think Anon said there might, keep in mind, one Remembrance character in this version. We had this conversation in my last stream. If you make a new Remembrance character, the most likely case for said character is likely being an RMC upgrade, right? And I don't mean Cyrene. I mean a direct RMC upgrade. And then this causes a whole new wave of issues, right? If you make a limited RMC upgrade, Evernight is kicking Cassie the fuck out of the Mono-Rem team. Okay? Like, unironic, Cassie is the first one to get kicked out of a Mono-Rem team if they make an RMC premium. So, I don't know what they do with the new Remembrance character, if there is a new one in 4.x. They'd have to be a DPS to not break Cassie. But if they're like a supportive type that is like an action advancer to replace RMC's value, then it's like GG's, dude. Isn't Cyrene that? Oh yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah. Cyrene's my favorite hyper carry action advancer in the game. She is for Noxa. You know what? You guys got me. GG's. Fair game. Fair game. I don't know about replacing Cassie. My Evernight does way worse without her. My friend, listen. That is either a massive skill issue or something else is going on. Because, like, even, keep in mind, even against Plight Anomaly Arbitration, the lowest cost clear is still an Evernight hyper carry without Cassie. Even at, like, whale levels of investment, Evernight Hyper Carry still beats using Cassie on the team. Now, Cassie gets closer with more investment, but if you were to make a genuine RMC upgrade, it would not be close. I mean, I can kind of just show you guys this, you know, instead of talking about it. The lowest cost clear, or near it, is Evernight against Harbinger. Against Cocolia, it's Evernight. Monorem needs like... Monorem needs 4. In Anon, Plight, Evernight Hyper Carry... Or, sorry, not Evernight Hyper Carry. What the fuck? Hyacine DPS with Cyrene Evernight is better than using Cassie. Cyrene DPS and, well, duo DPS with Evernight, Hyacine, is stronger than Cassie. Right. If we go to APOC, it's probably also going to be Evernight. Yeah, Evernight has some of the best clears in APOC. And then if you go to Pure Fiction, it's Evernight. And it's Evernight again.
It's squishy.
Will you test beta on stream? No. I wish they'd make memo sprites interesting with a bunch of moves. I mean, that's kind of Cassie's memo. I've talked about this before. That Cassie is like the pinnacle of a actual remembrance character. And then they did not try on literally anybody else. If they made every remembrance character have as like complex of a memo sprite as Cassie's, it would have been made the past so much more fun. But they were too lazy, you can just tell. Castris is stronger if the entire team is E2 S1. Yeah, I know. Once again, that's whale levels of investment. That's 16 cost. And then my point is, if you make a limited version of RMC with vertical investment, Evernight Hyper Carry is back to being stronger. And you probably need, like, at this point, fucking full E6 Mono Rem to compete with an Evernight Hyper Carry, which is like, just give it up, bro. Just give it up. Should I get Cyrene for Castoris if I don't have Evernight? No. Evernight holds a good bulk of the value that Cyrene gives in Mono Rem. So without Evernight, it's like... eh. Why not a Hyacine replacement? Because Hyacine doesn't need to be replaced. If you're going to choose a replacement for anybody among Remembrance characters, it'd be RMC. It wouldn't be Hyacine. I mean, listen, I'd love if they did make a second Hyacine for my own agenda. Because if they make a second Hyacine, I can then separate my Cassie and Evernight as DBSs. Like, I am probably the number one person who would love something like this. I could run my Cassie with, I could run my Cassie with Hyacine, the E1 May, and I don't know who the fuck else in the second slot. I just make it work, right? Maybe RMC, right? And then I'd use Evernight, new Hyacine upgrade, give her Cyrene, and then someone else in there. Hello. Why is Evernight rerunning if there's no plan for more remembrance? Because she needs to rerun. They're probably gonna rerun Cassie and the rest of the remembrance characters too in like a patch or two. It depends on the account, Berg. My current Anoxa account and my account for speedrunning Endgame are both free to play. But this Cassie account and my other Dot account aren't. I spent money on them. They re-ran for the last time since 3.x ended. That is not how it works, brother. They can't start rerunning Elation characters until 4.3. Or 4.x characters until 4.3. So they still need to rerun some 3.x ones. Like, Phanon is probably going to get a rerun. I think. Phanon's probably going to get another rerun. The entire Mono Rem team is probably going to get another rerun. Well, of course, aside from Evernight, because Evernight's getting reran right now. Who else? Tribby? Yeah, they could rerun Tribby. Because keep in mind, at least temporarily for Asheville's hyper carry, I do think Buff Sparkle plus Tribby is his current best in slot. So they can make money off of a Tribby rerun. I mean, just whatever else. Just whatever else. Yeah, to be honest, there could also be a Don Hung PT rerun. They could also do a Don Hung PT because, like, they know Don Hung PT has good Eidolons. Yes, he was free. Most people have him free, but he also has really good Eidolons. No one can doubt it, right? Like, Gallagher level SP positivity with 18% more resben. And then double dragon, double damage, double frequency with action advance. Can I ask you a theory crafting question? Sure. Pearl will be the sustain that adds multiple toughness bars and converts toughness bars to shields. I don't think so. The break enemies to charge ultimate definitely sounds like a real thing, though. I agree with that one. If they wanted to add a special gimmick to Himeko and she ended up being a break DPS, then the gimmick ult would probably be that. And it'd fit with standard Himeko too, wanting breaks for her follow-up. I don't know about the Pearl thing, though. That sounds a little too out there for me, personally. Could be cooking, though. Some players suggest skipping Yao Guang and picking her in rerun. Well, yeah, a lot of people say that, but it's like it doesn't even matter anymore because we know for now, for sure, we're going to get the beta anyways while her banner's running. And it's like I've said for a while now, like, if you can read a Yao Guang kit, just pull her, dude. Like, please. This is not a Sunday situation in the slightest. Not even close. If anything, you really could argue it's like the opposite of a Sunday situation. Any idea what the best Elation team will be for AA without using leaks? I mean, it's just Silverwolf, dude. It's just gonna be Silverwolf. Silverwolf Sparksy Yao Guang. Here's your non-leaked Elation team. I mean, to be fair, it isn't leaked. Like, I've predicted the Yao Guang Sparksy combo for the main push main DPS and, like, Sparksy beta. Because it was just obvious. Like, if you're making a sub DPS, then they're probably going to be for the main push coming up in, like, 2 patches. And then Yao Guang synergy with Sparksy is so goddamn strong, you just pair them together. So, I mean, that combo is definitely just going to be a thing. Sparksy seems undertuned compared to Evernight. Not really, no. To be honest, they're about the same. Punchline generation. She's the largest punchline generator on the team. The only difference between her and Evernight is that she has punchline generation. Evernight has vulnerability debuffing. And that's it. Because Sparksy accomplishes the same, if not more, damage buffing with the punchline gen. But also, the punchline gen actively stacks for Silverwolf SP's ultimate, which might actually be more important from Sparksy. What's the cheapest main DPS Hyacine Plight clear? I think it's literally the best one. Yeah, it is. It's 12 cost. It's wait, let me see. It's E6 Hyacine with free-to-play S5. Okay, they use Battle Pass. Fucking scam. Okay. I hate people who use... You know what? I'll just show you here. It is E6 Hyacine with S5 Remembrance Cone, E2 Cyrene, S4 Battle Pass Cone, E1 Evernight, S2 Battle Pass Cone, E6 RMC.
It's squishy. This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues?
Yeah, like for example, okay, a lot of people don't realize this, right? People will nitpick the Firefly Zero cycles on this website and then not realize that all of Firefly's lowest cost zero cycles are using Battle Pass Harmony cones. So when you actually look at free to play, for example, this says 4. Her actual best clear without Battle Pass cones is 5, which is still impressive, right? But like, this is on par with Fei Xiao. This is on par with My Day. This is on par with Cassie. And March 7th is literally only 1 cost away from your ass, right? It's the same over here with the Cocolia clear. 3 cost, but with Battle Pass. So the one without Battle Pass is 4 cost, which is like Aglaea's better than you, Cyrene main DPS is better than you, Feynod's better than you, Cassie, Heislands, Saber, Fei Xiao is on the same level. Once again, March is only 1 cost away from being on the same level as Firefly. Do you mean the Bronya cone, Bronte? The Bronya cone with ER gen? Yeah, the S5 Bronya cone actually has more ER gen on it than Robin's own signature. Well, I can't check. I have to go to databank. Yeah. Oh, the Battle Pass one. I see. It has a 33% chance of giving 12% energy to the whole team. Ah, I see. Uh, how much is Saridra good for Anoxa with Herda and Cyrene? Really good. Please pull. I'm begging. Please pull. Why are people saying Evanesia is gonna be bad? I mean, she's not gonna be bad, but she's definitely gonna get the shorter end of the stick as compared to Silverwolf. Oh wait, Pfizer, are you saying Herda with S1 or Anoxa with Herda's Lyco? Like, I just want to make doubly sure. Herda Lycone? Okay, yeah. Pull Saridra then, yes. Pull Saridra. Saridra's Irene combo is like godly with Anoxa. It helps him a lot. I'm actually pulling on Saridra myself soon. Yeah. One day, 19, 18 hours, so like 2 more days for me. I'm gonna do my Saridra pulls on my Anoxa account. I don't have his Eidolons though. That's fine. Anoxa's Eidolons are garbage. You don't need to worry about needing his Eidolons. No, this account is on Asia. My North American account is my speedrun account. Sarija's underrated. In my opinion, she's overrated. For Anoxa, though, yes, she's perfectly rated in my opinion. It's only Anoxa, though. Low-key, what if I just pulled E2 Faye? What do you guys think? If Faye ends up rerunning in the next 2 patches, should I just get E2 Faye on this account? Because he's just kind of like sitting there. He's not even doing anything. And he'd be my third team probably. Oh, by the way, keep in mind, I'm probably going to spend money on this account. On anniversary, I'm definitely dropping $100 for double top up. So consider that. Plus, I have monthly passes going on.
So naive.
Where's your E2 Phanon account? I mean, I still have it. I can log into it right now. But I'd prefer to just have E2 Faye on the main account so I don't have to constantly switch accounts and shit.
So this was my childhood dream, huh?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the anniversary so I can drop 100 for the double top up. Because they're probably going to have a spending event going on. And I've already used the double top up on this account. As you guys can see. I used it on Evernight, when Evernight came out.
Play nice.
Triple top up. Oh, oh. That made me excited for a second just thinking about it. Thought you were free to play the whole time. I'm only free to play on a few accounts. But no, I mainly spend money usually. Like my Anoxa account is free to play. My speedrun account is free to play. This one isn't. Neither is my dot one.
This is ridiculous. How come I keep bumping into colleagues? Turn over this eternal page.
What is Phanon's best hyper carry team? Oh, wait, no. What is Phanon's best non-Saridra team? Probably Sunday Sparkle Cyrene. If you're going for a long-lasting battle, it's probably Sunday Sparkle Cyrene. But if you think you can brute force it with like 1 or 2 ults worth of damage, you can replace Cyrene with like a Tribby or something, just a stronger Amper, like E1 May, something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure Phanon's lowest cost Anon clear currently is double action advancer, or it's one of his best at least. Yeah. So RMC Sparkle, no Cyrene, and then E1 Sari is only 1 cost more Then use. Oh yeah, Bronya. Oh yeah, here I can show you. So they use RMC, Bronya, E1 Seri, E2 Faye, and it's 6 cost. But keep in mind, I do think a free buff Sparkle would probably work significantly better here. I could be wrong. Maybe the Bronya 100% AA really matters for living it, but you can see, right? Like Cyrene is kind of already losing her spot in these teams because of buff Sparkle. There's a lot of buff Sparkle teams. You said Saridra was the easiest to get kicked out of a Phanon team in the future, but I think it's Sunday. Sunday is probably going to get Nova flared, though. Like, I agree. You'd probably use Sari over Sunday currently. But if literally one more buff Sparkle situation releases, it doesn't even have to be Sunday. If one more buff Sparkle situation releases, then Saridra is getting kicked out of sustain teams. And then it's arguable and sustainless. Yeah, like even a buff Robin would kick out Saridra. I'm not even trolling. Like if they buff Robin for follow-up and they don't get rid of her normal buffs and they just buff most of them and like fix her ER issues, like even a buffed Robin could replace Saridra theoretically. Like any generalist buffer with action advance who gets Nova flared or is new can replace Saridra or Cyrene. This is like the way you can see it, right? Or the way you can understand my line of thinking. Any new action advancer with generalist buffs or Nova flared one can probably beat or compete with like Cyrene Saridra. In my opinion, though, this does not mean, because keep in mind, I'm not a hater, okay? I just think certain ways. However, this does not mean that Cyrene Saridra have no value, right? Because if you look at, for example, main DPS Ashvale, he also really likes Sunday. He also really likes buff Sparkle. So, having these niche, albeit best in slots for Phanon, who aren't that big of buffs, yeah, it can suck. Okay, let's be honest. Everybody wants Phanon to get the fucking Cassie treatment in terms of support vertical investment. However, at the same time, they allow you to pick up another DPS, use buff Sparkle and Sunday with them, and now you have a third team done, right? Like, I usually wouldn't say this, but Ashvale genuinely brings to the table a lot with just Sparkle Sunday, right? He brings a lot. It's really worth it picking him up, in my opinion. So, like, Saridra and Cyrene do have value for that. Yeah, Sunday is 100% like way too lore important to get scuffed. In my opinion. He is way too lore important. They are definitely going to Nova flare him. It's probably going to be like late V4 or somewhere in V5. It's going to take a while, right? I'm not saying it isn't, but he's definitely getting Nova flared. Is Sparkle RMC the new Pela Ting Yun? I mean, basically. To be honest, by the way, also, Ashvale, this guy's a goat for free to plays, genuinely. Ashvale, because of his 40% defense down, I believe if you have a Pela with pearls and you combine it with Ashvale, you're able to get near 100% defense down, even without his Lycone. So, Pela is like actually one of his best supports in the entirety of the game. Because the jump from 40% shred to 98% is fucking astronomical. Right? It's like massive.
Checked off the list.
What if Welt gets Nova Flared into a perfect DPS for Sunday? I mean, I am clueless when it comes to Welt, man. I have never been more clueless when it's come to a character's Nova Flare in my life as it is Welt. Like, standard characters at all getting buffed was already a surprise. But then it's like Welt? Like, Welt is weird. Like, they could really make him go in so many different avenues. Like, they could make him a DPS. They could make him a sustain who plays around with the AV in a cycle. They could just make him be, I don't know, a bot debuffer. That's better than other options for Acheron temporarily. Like, Guy can literally be anything, man. Good night, good night. Is Heislands worth pulling? I have Black Swan, Kafka, and Huohuo. Yes. Yes. Listen. You have 2 days before this goes. Get Heislands now. Okay? Now. I have her whole team. Should I get her? Do you think future Nova Flares would ever add new animations to them? I don't know. Your best bet is Firefly. Your best bet is Firefly getting that Currency Wars Ultimate.
Those moments spent anchored in quiet harbors. I miss them as I miss fleeting foes.
How long do you think E1 Archer will stay relevant? Well, it depends what you mean by relevant. Like, being able to clear endgame content decently well? Like, a good while? At least halfway through V4, it's still going to be decently comfortable. He's probably going to start... You're going to start noticing him falling off. Probably on the second half of version 4. And then late version 4, it's gonna feel not good. Definitely. That's definitely going to happen, in my opinion. No, it wouldn't hurt to see if I can get an early E1 Swan, guys, right? It wouldn't hurt to see if I can get an early E1 Swan. Fuck. Who are you saving for in this account? Dahlia and Fugue. So I'm saving this patch's second half. I'm saving 4.1. And then I'm also saving pulls from 4.2. And then I'm dumping all those pulls on Dahlia Fugue. If I'm not able to get E1 Swan, add like 50 pulls to that. Because that's how much pity I'm going to have. Fugue is probably not rerunning until at the earliest 4.8 realistically. Nah, they'll rerun Fugue on the anniversary. Fugue and Dahlia will probably rerun on the Annie. Or one will rerun on the Annie and the other will rerun the patch after. Because that's what they did with Kafka Nova Flare. Although, like, here's the thing. It would be even better for me if they didn't rerun that fast. So, I can save more pulls. She had a rerun in 3.8. No shot she'll get another rerun soon. I mean, that's 3 patches, Bronzy. Rerunning in 3 patches is normal in HSR. If they're trying to sell towards a new character. Like, Nova flaring... Keep in mind, Firefly also reran in 3.8. And is definitely going to rerun in 4.2 or 3 to sell her Nova Flare. So there's no way you're going to miss the chance on selling Dahlia Fugue at the same time. I mean, Bronte, you can make that argument for maybe base kit Fugue, but you cannot make that argument for Fugue with Eidolon investment. Like, E1 is 50% break efficiency increase. E2 is a literal DDD on a character. I agree Fugue could definitely use some tweaks to her kit, but they'd still sell her, or try to sell her in my opinion. Most people don't go for Eidolons. Not the Firefly mains, Bronte. Maybe for most DPSs, but I'm pretty sure Firefly is the most like high Eidolon owned DPS in the game, more so than E0. So they go for dupes on Firefly. I mean, nah, okay. Here's the thing, Adam. I agree. Fugue is good. Right. However, I have personally seen a lot of sustainless Firefly showcases with Dahlia where they just use E1 Mei instead of Fugue and they can achieve similar performance. This isn't me saying E1 Mei is better, but that goes to show like Fugue's relevance, at least at a base E0, isn't the highest in the world. And it's really her Eidolons that sell it, in my opinion. Yeah, like, if there's any break support that they'd try to make an upgrade of, like, theoretically, right, if my theory of Himiko being a break DPS is correct, and they're gonna, like, chill her teammates, Dahlia would not get replaced, but Fugue could definitely get an upgrade, in my opinion. I actually wonder if they'd ever Nova Flare Mei. What do you guys think about that? A Nova Flared Ruan Mei. Will that just like break the game? Ruan Mei would, if they Nova Flare Mei, she dead ass might be T0 for like half a decade total. Yeah. I don't think that's happening because of golden tokens. I mean, I used to think the same, Axie, but it's like we're getting Nova Flared Welt, and you can use golden tokens on Welt. Now, of course, it depends on whether or not you think Nova Flared Welt is going to be good or shit because he's a standard character. But if they make Nova Flare Welt genuinely good, you can just dump your golden tokens on the guy's copies. So I don't think that would necessarily stop them personally. Well, it is a standard? Yeah, I guess if you think they'd only do it because he's standard, then yeah. We also get a standard character selector in 4.2 probably. I could see that. I think that's more realistic. Standard character selector with golden token, I think is more realistic. Like I've had people in my chat say that they think they're gonna make another like 4.0 limited selector for the Annie on top of the golden token. I think that's expecting a little too much. But a standard selector with a Welt Nova Flare plus golden token makes more sense. We got a standard selector every Annie. Was there a standard selector on Cassie's Annie? I don't remember. See you later, IZL. Probably butchered that. Good night. I don't think we got a standard selector on Anniversary. For Cassie, at least. I think it was just a golden token and stuff. Let me see. Did HSR... Did Honkai Star Rail get a standard selector in for patch 3.2? No, they didn't. Wait, no, yeah, they didn't. Yeah, all good, Bronte, all good. Yeah, Acheron, the first anniversary of HSR was the worst one. It was actually cheeks. It was just pulls and nothing else. I mean, it basically, it was like Wuwa first Annie. They nearly have the same pull count as well. Bronya Nova Flare? They're too scared. Bronya Nova Flare with buff Sparkle? They're too scared, man. Yeah. The glow up from first Annie to second Annie for HSR was significant. Like, golden token introduction with you being able to get May for free. And then also the pulls. And then also the free 5 stars. Version 3 was like significantly more generous than any previous one. Alright, chat. I am going to end the stream here. I'm going to do something else. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. And peace out.